Welcome back, everyone. Episode 3 of No More Popcorn. Today, we just got through watching 1988 film Brain Damage from Frank Henenlotter. All right, so we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about that. We're going to start off with, this is starring Rick Hurst as Brian, our main character. Patrick?
Yeah?
You want to do the honors?
Oh.
Is this your thing now?
This is his thing. Yeah.
Limited edition contents. High definition Blu-ray tonight.
What are you? Okay.
From Frank, how do you say?
Henenlotter.
The man behind such cult horror favorites as Basket Case, which got up there, and Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
One I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah. The Ultimate Head Trip, now finally on Blu-ray. You get to meet Elmer. He's your friendly neighborhood parasite with the ability to induce euphoric hallucinations in his host. But these LSD-like trips come with a hefty price tag. When young Brian comes under Elmer's addictive spell, it's not long before he finds himself scouring the city streets in search of his parasite friend's preferred food source, brains. Featuring.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
I thought that was the.
No, that was the end of that paragraph.
Oh, I think the next stuff's just getting into stuff that's not actually about the movie, right?
Oh, well, I mean, it's about the movie, but not.
Go right ahead.
I mean, the style of the movie. Late TV horror host John Zaccarello.
Just go with it.
Yeah, as the voice of Elmer. Brain Damage boasts some of the most astonishing bad taste gore gags ever realized, including the notorious brain-pulling sequence and a blowjob that ends with a distinctly unconventional climax.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
yeah, that says it.
Yeah.
All right, so this movie, we start off with this older couple, and they're in their apartment, and the old man comes in. He's like, "Oh, hey, honey, I've got the brains," from this deli that they are somehow buying.
Oh, yeah.
Cow brains, some sort of animal brains.
He went through so many delis. He's like, I don't want to go to the French because they ask too many questions.
So the wife is getting these brains ready for something that we're not entirely sure what that is yet. She puts it on a little plate with a little, garnishing and stuff like that. Brings it into the bathroom to feed it to something. And there's a tub full of water, but the something's gone. It's missing.
Oh.
So then this leads into, in my opinion, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, which is definitely. They're going insane trying to find this lost thing. And Nathan, I was hoping you could try to give us a mimic of the woman's scream.
Yeah.
It is the greatest scream ever.
Rachel's not asleep yet, is she?
She is, but this will make it funnier.
hold the mic.
Oh,
hold
yeah. You want me to hold it too?
There's one point where she's like crouched, she's like falling down, and she's got like shells around her, and she's just like, kind of like that.
For so
pretty
long,
good?
That was very
okay, good. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
And she's smashing plates. I don't know how that helps you find anything. But
lamps.
It's a scene in a cop drama where they're searching the house for something
for
like drugs.
Yeah.
And they're destroying the house, but even worse. It's like they're just going through and just throwing things down.
I think the husband wanted to destroy all these things because he hates it so much, and he finally had an excuse.
Get rid of
everything.
Yes.
Wife buys all this shit, cluttering up the house. One more whatnot.
How many pillows can one person possibly need?
How many little elephant statues do we need in this apartment?
All right, so they're flipping around, tearing this place apart, looking for something.
Oh, he destroys all these lamps too.
Yes, everything.
Throws them.
Books, the couch. It looked fun.
I appreciate the beginning of that because there's just this mystery of what is it, and why are these people just losing their shit in such a funny way. They don't care about any of their personal possessions at all. They want this thing so badly.
Right. And he does say, I just recalled when he first starts searching, the husband he's digging through this closet, and you do hear him say, "Elmer!" But it's very brief, and then you get to know later on what or who Elmer actually is. So after this scene, we're introduced to the main character of Brian, and he's right. That is the next part.
Yeah,
he just
automatically.
his girlfriend's calling him, and he's not.
Yes.
He's not getting up. He's just getting out of bed.
Knows the phone.
Yeah, he's not feeling well. He had plans to go out to a concert with his girlfriend. Luckily, his fucking creepy brother Mike is there to see. So he's like, Brian's like, Mike, why don't you just take her to the concert? You know, and he's like, oh, are you sure? You know, and you can tell straight from the get-go this guy has one thing on his mind. Donuts.
Yeah, as soon as she walked in, he had like a creepy look. Like, staring right at her.
He's like, I could smell you coming. so, so they're out. Mike and Barbara. Barbara is the girl who just constantly looks sad throughout this entire fucking movie. And while they're gone, Brian's laying in bed, and he wakes up suddenly, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he pulls his hand away from the back of his neck, and there's all this blood. All right, so we're like, "What's happening? Why all the blood?"
He's pretty calm about it too.
He's very calm.
I would be panicking.
And then he starts tripping his balls off. You want to start telling us about this trip? You've tripped a little bit.
I've been on a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I after getting so he lays down, he looks up the ceiling, and there's a circular kind of cover thing on his lamp thing on his ceiling, and
light shade.
Light shade. That's the word. Lamp shade, light shade.
That's what I'm here for.
It over time, he's looking at it. It starts to turn into an eyeball. There's
I love
huge
that, too.
eyeball on the ceiling, looking down on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is. It lasts a while.
Yeah, the whole scene. Oh yeah, and then there's it looks like a blue Kool-Aid. It starts filling up, flooding into the room, and then slowly, completely covers him over.
Yeah, submerging him. I love that scene where Patrick. I think you commented on it too. It's so clearly green screened.
Oh yeah.
Or
they cut and paste into that. That's what they do.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it looks neat because it's supposed to be he's on this trip. I think actually they almost benefited from the lack of a good budget. I thought it kind of added to it.
I feel like this movie literally was just the director took either mushrooms or LSD and said, I have to do this movie now.
Mm-hmm.
It has that feeling. And then when Brian's describing to, I forget who he's describing it to, but he's saying, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm seeing all these colors, and I taste sounds and all this shit.
Yeah, it's when him and Barbara are at the restaurant.
I feel like that was the director talking to us about his acid trip. That's what it felt like to me. Yeah,
it could be, and I don't know if anyone watching this has watched any of Frank Henenlotter's movies. He considers himself, whenever we watch these movies, we've always kind of lumped it into this is horror comedy, 80s, typical, well, not typical as in the content, but horror comedy. That's what everyone generally refers to him as. He considers himself an exploitation filmmaker, so maybe he's exploiting his drug use. I don't know. I've watched some interviews with the guy. He doesn't really seem like he's done a lot of drugs, but
yeah,
I don't know. This shit's got to come from somewhere. But anyway, so yeah, he's tripping his balls off, and then he wakes up and he shows him leaning up against a wall, and you pointed out a really funny thing. He's obviously been awake and attentive, he knows what's going on at this point, but he somehow hasn't wiped any of this blood off of him. Oh, yeah. He's just sitting there, just completely covered in this shit. And then we are introduced to Elmer.
Elmer's awesome.
Yes, he is a little a creature, if you will, that has attached himself to Brian, and he basically explains himself. Brian pulls him off of him, right? Isn't that how? He pulls him off of him. And he's in this little bucket of water, and then he's sitting there.
He finally sees him. He's looking in the mirror, and he comes.
Oh, that's right. He's crawling through his shirt. Yes,
because it looked like a dick crawling underneath his shirt.
And then the next scene, he's just in a bucket of water. We don't see how it goes from that point to putting him in the bucket.
Yeah,
of
he
water.
just crawls up,
Like,
pops up,
Brian,
and starts
yeah.
talking. And this is a scene when we talked about showing a clip where we were like, I don't know if we want to spoil that because it's so funny when you see it. It's so out of left field when Elmer starts talking, and just its face and its voice is just so
It's great.
ridiculous.
It's comic gold, and it you know, like we're talking about just how out of left field it is. It's like once you hear it, I can't see it any other way. It's this perfect, charming little dick worm creature, and I love him. He's got these eyes that you just melt into.
Oh,
just
That's so great.
yeah.
And then Nathan brought up a point, looked like a Goomba from Mario Brothers.
Yes, yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
Not the game.
So at this point, whenever Elmer is talking to Brian about, I can give you everything you want, and basically, he's like, let me give you. He refers to it as, let me juice you. Let me give you this juice. So he attaches himself to the back of Brian's neck, sticks this like mosquito
proboscis.
Yeah, into the back of his neck, and it goes into his brain, and then you see the brain, and you see this little needle come out, and all this blue juice spill onto his brain, and this is when we understand
and you
that
see like electric kind of sparkle on his brain.
It should be like a Starburst commercial. It's just loose.
the juice is loose. Gushers. Yeah. So this is when Brian starts tripping his balls off and understanding that's what was going on with him. So he's running around the street. All Elmer's telling him is like, you have to feed me. Okay, so they go out and Brian is enjoying all these lights and sounds and colors.
To party.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Fucking dancing around. And the trip starts to wear off. And he's like, oh, can you give me some more of that? And Elmer's like, oh, you've had enough for the night. Because he's a good drug dealer, He's looking out for his customers, and he's going to keep coming back. So he does give him a little bit more juice, and then Brian ends up back home. And then, so let's talk about some more of these scenes where getting towards what Elmer's actual... how he feeds, why he keeps juicing up Brian, and things of that nature. There's a scene in a club called Club Hell, all right? And this is where Brian is once again fucked up, and this is one of our favorite scenes, I think, from the movie. It seemed unanimously one of our favorites. So Brian is high, and someone take it away with what happens from here.
Brian meets a girl in the club. Girl knows he's kind of fucked up.
Like a nice girl,
Yeah.
She just wants to have a good time.
Wearing a leather corset.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is like a punk
Yeah,
club.
like punk goth
Yeah.
club is what's going on.
With everyone
Jumping.
doing this without any
Nobody's talking
at all. There's this
jumping and moshing. Well, I wouldn't even say moshing. They're
No.
just jumping.
to a band led by John Malkovich
With a mullet wig.
with a mullet wig.
Yeah.
We assume it's John Malkovich. We didn't see the credits for it.
He chooses to remain uncredited.
I'm surprised they were able to show this scene. I guess because Elmer looked enough to not like a dick. So basically, what
They
happens
went
is
with Japanese rules.
yeah. What happens? Yeah, that's what it was. It's a tentacle. It's not a dick. Where she's gonna suck his dick, unzips his pants, and then Elmer comes out, who already looks like a dick, goes into her mouth, and then basically just face rapes her. I mean, that is what the scene is.
Oh, yeah.
And then Brian grabs her head, too.
That's what I was going to
And
say.
Making that motion
And-
and everything.
Yeah, and you can see it looks like a big, veiny black dick,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah, it's... And then
Pulls
her brain out through the mouth.
Yep.
She's dead. So this is one of the kills where he doesn't yet know that
Right, Brian doesn't know yet, but we're starting to see, oh, this is his bag.
Elmer eats brains.
Yeah.
He needs
knew
brains.
enough to dispose of his underwear.
Yes, he ends up in the all these garbage cans and stuff around in the apartment where he's at. He's taking off his pants and getting rid of these bloody underwear. And
Old man Jenkins comes out.
oh, was that then? Does he appear then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's the old man from the beginning. He comes out. He's like, "I want him back. He's mine. I trained him. He's mine."
Yeah, the old couple. They're still looking.
Oh, they need that fix.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah, they need that fixed.
At first, I thought he was like a ghost at this point because he looked like he had died or something. Because like they were foaming at the mouth, like convulsing.
Yeah, I thought they were
earlier.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could have swore they were dead.
That's actually, I didn't really think about that. That's a sort of a huge empty hole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, later on, so they
were detoxing.
It goes on to where Brian figures out that, okay, I'm killing people. Elmer's killing people. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He runs out. He goes to the hotel. He says, I'm going up against you. So Elmer and Brian are having this face-off. Elmer's like, go ahead. I'm fine. Let's see who breaks down first. I need brains. You need juice. See who breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian starts going through his withdrawals, and he at one point,
shitty hotel.
Yeah, he at one point is foaming at the mouth, but he's still.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's still in the oblivion, but he still needed it. I mean, he still came back. Was like, fine. Let's just go do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
he doesn't care anymore. He just says, "We're just gonna." I just don't want to know it's happening. He just says, keep me high the whole time. I just don't want to know who's dying, is what he decided on.
One of my favorite parts of this, too, which we did discuss before this, we are not going to ruin the voice of this character because your introduction to it is incredible. But when Elmer while Brian's laying there going through withdrawals, Elmer's just singing these lounge tunes, it actually is credited in the credits as a Elmer's tune or Elmer's song or something, which I want to touch on that too. The character's name is Elmer. It even says this on the case, it says it in the credits, but the old man, at a point in the movie we'll get to, he literally spells it out Aymler or Ayl, yeah, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a weird little touch of it.
And then he gives his whole history, like, he's been around
since the Fourth Crusade.
The Fourth Crusade. That was the only part. I started to write this down, and that's all I got.
Yeah, it was like Fourth Crusade.
So many details.
In Africa.
Yeah, it was in Egypt.
Popped back up in World War II. And somehow he managed to get it.
I feel like it implied that he was with Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, World War II. He was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Mentioned Berlin.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I straight up couldn't keep up with it at all. I was hoping to write it all down. I'm like, okay, here's our description. No. It's wasn't it an acronym?
What?
Elmer?
I don't
No?
think so.
Okay. Oh, no, that's where he was all-inspiring or awe-inspiring. So I thought he was about to start going into an acronym, and then I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah, he's like, it's Elmer, but it's like Ale or something like that when he was saying the name.
Yeah, because Brian was like, Elmer?
Yeah.
You named him Elmer?
Yeah, that was like
Aylmer.
Yeah, with A.
Sounds way cooler.
All right. Another thing I want to talk about with special effects on this, it's a little bit out of line with where we are in the plot, but where you were talking about where he was talking about the, I taste colors or hear colors and all that stuff. When he's sitting at dinner with Barbara, he's trying to get her to understand, and she's trying to understand, like, why have you gone completely batshit crazy? Why aren't we talking? Just tell me what's going on. And he has this plate of spaghetti in front of him, and he's going on this tangent about hearing the sounds and all this other stuff. And his plate of spaghetti, it takes one of the meatballs and it turns into a brain. And then, it keeps going back to it, and there's more brains, and they're all pulsing. Like you see,
they're all pulsing and breathing.
They're breathing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly a breath sound.
And he, if you caught it, he had said he started to explain what it was, and it Elmer bit him or something, and he was like, I can't talk about it. And I wanted to bring.
He's like, I have an itch.
Yeah.
So he basically bit him and made him start tripping. That's what.
Well, I think that, but also just to shut him up. It was kind of a thing of
Stop
you can't
talking.
tell.
Oh, he definitely was doing
Right.
that.
I did learn something. I can't remember what special features I was watching. It may have been on this. It was either this or Basket Case. But Frank Henenlotter, he was talking about the noise that Elmer makes was actually just like a crew member. It was his stomach.
Oh, they actually
Like,
picked it up.
well, they heard it and they're like, "What in the fuck is that?" And they were like, "That has to be the sound."
Oh.
So they just they just recorded this dude's tummy rumbling and grumbling and stuff. So that's that noise every time he's. I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Let's see, where are we at here? So we did the Hotel Hell dick eating. Yeah, all right. So we're at the Sunshine Hotel. He wants to get high. All that's done.
They went in the shower, and there's a character in it that shows up.
Yep,
Frank Henenlotter.
that's the next part.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he was the pimp in Frank Henenlotter.
So this is where
the man ass.
Brian said, he said, "Fuck it, I'll give you what you want," and he goes into the shower in the hotel, which is like a hostel shower. There's like a bunch of showers in a room, same room, and this ripped dude that's also in Frankenhooker is in there just bare ass,
Soaping it up.
just soaping that ass up.
You thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I actually,
Yeah,
I,
they
when they
set you
got
up
to
for
that
that.
scene again, I thought, I'm like, oh yeah, he dies. And then when it didn't happen, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I got it mixed up. But yeah, you think that Elmer's going to feed on him, because you just got Brian back there all awkward and this big buff dude. He was like, what's your problem? While he's like soaping him down. And Brian's just, he's so pale and shit. They did a really good job of making him look like someone who's going through withdrawal.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of leaning against the side of the wall, and Elmer sliding down his leg and slithering across the floor. Big buff dude leaves, and it
Left
cuts.
him a bar of soap.
Left him a bar of soap.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys. I do not. I would never use that bar of soap again. Just saying. But anyway, so it cuts to a dude taking a shit. Oh, cut back for a second. I wanted to know your all's opinion on this. It shows us in the hotel. Okay, before the shower scene though, there's a biker
Oh yeah.
and his friend.
Yeah.
And they're stumbling into the hallway. The
That was
biker's
weird.
is loud and obnoxious, and his buddy that's with him, or whoever it is, looks really timid and really fucked up.
Yeah.
And they go into the same room, and my mind was like, is this dude gonna fuck this kid?
I
Because
don't know.
that's what I don't know.
I think that's what was gonna happen. I think he was gonna get drugs from him. That's probably how he's gonna pay for it. I mean, it's a
He's
shitty-
got really
Goddamn,
it's
Patrick.
a-
Good
it's a
right
shitty
detail.
Hotel.
He's been working this
It
over in his mind since we watched this scene.
That hotel reminds
So
me
wait
of
a
like
minute.
the Chelsea Hotel where Sid Vicious stayed
Mhm.
at. And it was just the shittiest hotel where everybody went to go do drugs and shit.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of.
But the biker was ranting about nuclear war and shit.
Ooh, I wonder if that
I don't know.
has something to do. Did Elmer come from a nuclear war?
Is this the
Probably.
message? Is that what it's actually about?
I don't know.
Fourth
Is this movie
Crusade.
not about masturbation, Patrick? It's actually about
That's what,
nuclear
that's,
war.
that's what I thought in that bathroom scene. Because he's like, he's in a bathtub with a bunch of suds. And Elmer-
That's true.
Oh yeah.
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 He's like,
he's like, I'm in
he's-
here.
he
Leave me
squirts
alone."
juice all
Yeah.
over his chest,
Yeah.
and the guy just starts like, like
While his girlfriend is beating on the door, like, "Are you clean?
Yeah.
Let me in!" But we don't want to miss over the shitter guy, the guy in the shitter at the hotel who got killed, because that was a really cool scene.
get his blood squirted.
Yeah,
out
I
the
just
top of
love
his-
that. Like, it
What a
just
way
shows
to
the
go out.
yeah, it just shows this guy in the stall. He's taking a shit, and that was Elmer's victim instead of the big buff guy. He crawls up in there, and it doesn't really show. It just shows him like the guy in the toilet, just like, huh? And Elmer's on top of the stall, and he just jumps down, latches onto his head, and it's just a whole bunch of. It shows an outside shot from the toilet, and it's all this blood, just like spraying all over the walls and the ceiling. It was pretty rad.
Oh yeah, Brian's freaking out outside of the stall, like jumping up and down the whole time.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's doing that number like. It looked to me like he had to shit.
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking. I'm like, God damn.
Done yet?
Yeah, because it showed all the other toilets, and like,
were
it
closed.
fucking none of them had
Yeah.
toilet
That would have been
seats or
so
anything.
great if he had gone into another stall and taken a shit while Elmer was
Just
eating
nonchalant.
the dude.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that'd be awesome. So yeah, skipping back to what you're talking about, Brian's higher than a motherfucker, and he's back home. Barbara and his brother are still freaking the fuck out, trying to help him.
Oh, they had sex.
Oh yeah, and then they finally.
Was that before that?
I don't know. His
It
brother
was when
finally.
he came back, but he got in the room, went to sleep, and then the brother and Barbara came in.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up having sex.
Yeah, Barbara's like, I'm just so worried about him, and I hope he's okay. And Mike's like, fuck me. And then they do.
She's like, okay.
Yeah, he was stalking her for sure.
Oh,
He was, like,
I'm-
up close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to go back to something because this was to me one of the best and the grossest scenes was when he was going through withdrawals in the hotel room when he starts pulling shit out of his ear.
How did we forget about that?
Yeah.
How did we forget that? Yeah. Yeah. That
So
is
there
awesome.
was like, I've talked about it on Verbal Assault podcast. How much I like some ASMR at times. For people watching on the internet, they know what that is. But there's some that I've listened to where like the person will scratch on their mic, and it feels like there is literally a finger in your ear scratching inside your ear, and it makes my skin crawl. It's just very much like, oh my god, I can barely handle it. Well, this scene has that feeling because he starts pulling this shit out of his ear. But then there is this long string of goopy, nasty, bloody shit, and he's just pulling it and pulling it out of his ear. And
came out.
it very much gives you that that cringy kind of feeling of similar to nails on a chalkboard. But
I have that same feeling
Yeah.
with like when someone's pulling like hair out of their mouth or something.
Yeah,
God,
air
I
out of the drain.
fucking hate that.
yeah,
But yeah, so he's pulling it out, and then his ear pops
his ear
off,
comes off, and
and
then
then
blood is just.
gushing. It looks so cool.
He just does another. There's a lot of those in this movie. Just the long, nonstop scream of just.
Yeah. And they all remind me. I always go back to Troll 2 with "Oh my god!" Like it's always.
It very much had
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, where are we at here now? All right, so Mike and Barb, they've been fucking.
Yeah. Oh, he comes out like he trips again while they're having sex.
He tells them, "I need you to leave because I'm scared. I don't want you guys to die."
He's like, I'm cutting loose. I don't care. I don't care who this thing kills as long as it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I just want you to be gone.
So he kicks them out, but instead he just leaves.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
And then Barb's chasing him down the street, and
Oh, are we not going to mention all the locks all these people have?
yeah, lots of locks. The old couple had six locks
6
on their
locks.
door. Then when this started, well, I just assumed that Brian started putting these locks on the door when. No, that doesn't make any sense.
He put
He
the
already
locks on
had
the
'em.
bedroom and
No,
the
he
bathroom.
put them on. He put them on
But
after he
they-
got.
But his house,
Aylmer.
okay,
I don't remember if the main door had a bunch of locks or not.
yeah. But the bedroom ended up getting 5. The bathroom had like 4.
Yeah, he talks about it. He's like, he added all this. He's getting weird. He's talking to the girlfriend, his brother, and he's saying he added all these locks to his bedroom. He only locks them when he's
I don't
here.
know why they put him in here, but
Oh yeah,
He
that's
locks
right.
them when he's in the
yeah,
bathroom.
he's like, but there's buckets of
It's
water.
like they have the greatest drug in the universe, and they're so paranoid about it being taken, and which is what the old people had the same thing. They had the locks on their door and everything.
Yeah, okay.
And then they lost their shit when it disappeared. When Aylmer disappeared. So
Mhm.
it makes them paranoid that something's going to happen because it is an actual thing that can crawl away, which is what happened.
Right.
He ran out on the old people to find Brian. Aylmer did.
Yeah, no, that's
That's what
true.
he
I didn't really think of it that way. That or I just didn't pick up on that conversation in the movie. But yeah, that's cool. So Barb's chasing him down. Can we just call her Barb? Is that okay?
I never even heard her name. This is the
Yeah.
first
They
I've
said
heard
it
her
just one time and at Barbara.
Yeah, I had to frantically write it down. I'm like, thank you. So Barbara's chasing Brian down, and he basically is just telling her, get the fuck out of here. You know, this is crazy. I can't have you around. She follows him onto a subway, and this scene was pretty cool. They're sitting there, and Barb was talking, but she'd like turn her head every now and then, and Aylmer would come out like, bleh, and then duck back in. And there's also a cool little Easter egg at this part. For those of you who've seen Basket Case, the main character from that movie, Brian's sitting there, and he just looks across from him on the subway, and the dude's just sitting there just holding his basket. And the first time I seen this, I was like, oh, this is going to, you were asking, like, is this in the same universe?
Yeah.
I thought that's what was going to happen. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but just a little Easter egg. Nothing really comes from
there's
that.
a lock on that basket.
He looks at
Mhm.
he looks at Brian and says, "I'm going to get out of here."
Yeah.
Whatever he can tell, there's something wrong with this dude.
Mhm.
He just gets up and leaves.
So Brian and Barb start making out at this point, and of course, Elmer,
Comes out to play.
yeah, kills
Yeah.
Barb.
Yeah.
That sad poor woman. Not a smile crossed her face this entire movie.
I will say for a second, I thought he was going to try to set that up for a sequel because it went back to her face after she was dead.
Mhm.
Figured it probably laid eggs or something inside her, like alien. But it didn't happen.
You're taking this. I love it. No,
We're learning
loving
where Patrick's
this.
brain goes.
Yeah, he's like, well, clearly that boy wanted to score drugs, didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Um,
I like to think deep in my movies.
that's awesome. I'm very much enjoying that. So we got Barb dead. Brian is back out in the world now. I think this is.
That's it.
Oh, during that scene, there was
yeah.
an old woman that witnessed the whole thing and didn't do anything about it. She was
That's
like,
just a New York
okay.
subway, man.
Yeah.
She's
the way it
just, I know
is.
there's blood coming out of her mouth now, and she's not moving or breathing. But, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
That was the end of that scene.
Yeah. Now we're at the end of the movie. Brian's back on his porch of the apartment, trying now to throw away his bloody shirt from Barb, and the old couple comes back out, and they're fighting him for it, and the old man is like, give them to me, because Brian's leaning against the wall getting juiced up, getting his fix. The old man grabs him and gets him off, and then
the mom
he
patted
grabs.
him down. The old lady patted him down. That was.
oh yeah, that's right, she was patting him down, like Brian was willingly leaning against the wall, and this old crazy broad, well, I mean, the guy had a gun, the old guy had a gun, so this old crazy broad is just like patting him down. She gets across his back. Of course, you have this like the dick silhouette of that is Elmer.
I don't see why she didn't feel that the first time starting it. She went from top, bottom, back up. So, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't feel that the first time.
So they start fighting for it, and the old woman dies, and it's great because she screams again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
A
was
little longer, a little longer.
Oh.
Okay. You want to try it?
It went on for about another 2 minutes after that.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then it gets attached to the old man. You think the old man's dead. Brian gets it back. Old man ain't dead. And then we'll leave the very end of the movie for you guys to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Does that sound fair enough?
Don't let him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a clip.
Yeah, let's show a clip here, and then we'll start talking about our thoughts and more interesting
Volume up on
plot twists from Patrick.
Plot twist. Yeah, so.
The player's right there. Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, the volume should be up.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So he's tripping right now. He's in the junkyard.
As most would do while you're tripping.
Yeah.
Go to the junkyard. He was so excited to come here. All these colors.
Get a little more volume going here.
What the fuck is that? Move!
Oh, this dude was excited to come out and do
my
this
dick,
too.
sir.
He was waiting for this.
What is that?
Eats his way through the skull.
Oh yeah. More good screaming. Oh yeah. It's deep inside. It is.
There we go. That's Elmer's first kill. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
It's a little taste for you.
Yeah. Nathan, you want to start us off by giving your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was really funny. It's weird to me. I was telling them earlier, despite the kind of goofy parts of it with Aylmer and his voice and the funny things that happen, I still felt it felt kind of dark to me. Really, just this guy with his addiction and just how everything falls apart. His girlfriend, fucking, he kills her at the end, and everything that happens. I won't say it was a downer, but it was definitely, overall to me, it felt like a more serious movie, even with the funny stuff that happened.
Like a dark comedy.
Yeah, I guess I would say that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, I still really liked it. It was just the puppetry with Aylmer and the voice and all that is just it was so weird and funny to me. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed Frank Henenlotter too. Can't wait to see Basket Case.
Which there's a trilogy of Basket Case. I've only seen the first one.
Basket Case itself.
1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay.
So I was hoping maybe that'd be something that we could
Is that something
all
he
do
did?
together. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Henenlotter did them all.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Marathon it, man.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Huh.
We could eat some basket-themed foods.
Have herself a little picnic.
Oh, that would be cute. Yeah.
But overall,
Eggs in a
pretty good.
basket.
Eggs in a basket, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Pigs in a basket.
Pigs, is it like pigs in a blanket? But
It's like that, but we're going to call it a basket.
oh, okay.
We're going to shape the croissants in a form of a piss. I can't even talk. Picnic basket.
Put some bacon in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I mean, this one is. I kind of have the same way of tonally describing all of these movies that, in my opinion, fall under this realm, which is, yes, it's silly, yes, it's hokey, but it's a good movie. Yeah. It's not like you're laughing at it. You're not, you know what I mean. You can't really poke fun at it. It's really well done for the time, and it's a ton of fun. I would give it. Did we settle on the bags of popcorn? Our rating system is bags of popcorn.
Buckets. We should do buckets.
Buckets of popcorn.
Okay.
I would give Brain Damage. I would say 4 buckets of popcorn out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah?
Definitely.
4 out of 5.
Agree with that.
Yeah, 4?
Yeah.
All right, you guys heard it. No more popcorn. Somehow, man, just to give it 4 buckets of popcorn.
4 empty buckets.
No, I really do. I definitely recommend it, as well as the other movies, Frankenhooker, Basket Case. Frank Henenlotter has a very distinct style with his films, and they are a lot of fun, and they're definitely worth watching.
That's interesting. Like Frankenhooker had that same feeling to me. It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And he also has that brain obsession. Both movies have that brain stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's Frankenhooker. He's drilling into his brain.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, I'm feeling too much empathy. I need to get rid of that. Here's this part." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that same kind of thing.
I have to say, like, Frankenhooker, I mean, it was great, but we did a double feature that night of Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Frankenhooker. I personally thought Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers was a little better.
Overshadowed it.
Yeah, Frankenhooker was great, but I think that Brain Damage and Basket Case are definitely better, in my opinion. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say? I mean, is there some kind of,
Do
you think the subway was maybe like it was supposed to be leading into a tunnel that went to hell or something? Or
did the white underwear?
Yeah, the white underwear and the white tank.
Did that have to do with? Did that have to do with the purity of youth?
Yes, it was tainted with
and
drugs.
then it was tainted through drug use.
That's definitely it. Gotta go deep in little things there.
Elmer likes to go deep into little things.
Went to that thing.
We're no more popcorn. See you next time.